There is hardly any part of our society where widows, widowers, the aged, and orphans can't be found. The number of suffering widows, widowers, aged, and orphans is on the steady increase, and the tragedy they face is completely heartbreaking. As individuals and governments strive to create a better society for everyone, we should not push our widows, widowers, the aged, and orphans to the back seat because they are part and parcel of the society, our society. They too are our brothers and sisters.
Baálé mi kú ní bí ọdún mẹ́rìndínlógún sẹ́yìn. Àkókò tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó yẹ kó jẹ́ ẹ̀dùn ọkàn fún mi tó jẹ́ ìrora fún mi pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ tó kó sílẹ̀ fún mi.
Ní kọ́kọ́ mi ó tó kú ìrọ̀rùn wà dáadáa kò sí problem. Ṣùgbọ́n gbé òkú tán gbogbo ẹrù rẹ̀ ni wọ́n lọ kó station wa níbi tá a wà.
But we're not praying to have widows and orphans. But the reality is that there will always be widows. But we know that widows need not necessarily interpret into misery and despair. There should be a way of helping them to overcome the already tragedy of losing a dead one, not to talk of the children that are orphaned.
It should be our collective duty to provide them with support as they continue to look for motivation to carry on with their lives, even while faced with the challenges that life throws at them. It was in a bid to provide succor to deprived persons around us that Professor Deborah Enilo Ajakaye founded the Christian Care for Widows, Widowers, the Aged, and Orphans, CCWA.
Mama started this organization because of one or two people that are common to us. I've known Mama right from my old days in secondary school in the 50s. So it was natural, and we're in ABU together. So when she started this work, the first widow she actually worked with was a sister-in-law of mine. So it was a natural thing for us to be happy to work with her in developing this program to the level it is now.
The founder, Professor Ajakaye, or Deborah Ajakaye, had a vision that she should reach out to the widows, orphans, and the aged, of which she has been doing that indirectly. Then she founded CCWA so that she can reach out to the widows, widowers, the aged, and the orphans.
I've been involved with CCWA from the inception. That's as way back as 1991 and then 92 when it was formally inaugurated. I'm a niece to Prof and lived with her for many years, so I've been very familiar with her activities with the widows and needy people in general.
Deborah Enilo Ajakaye was born in Osun State, but she spent her early days in the city of Jos, the capital of Plateau State. With a fascinating period growing up, little Deborah wasted no time before she started exhibiting some uniqueness as someone with exceptional qualities to excel. Her childhood days were filled with lots of beautiful memories, and she often reflects back to those days with so much joy and gladness. Enilo, as she is often called, is the fifth of 6 children. Coming from a very humble and modest background, her parents believed in equal education of the sexes and they distributed household chores among both the male and female children alike. Enilo was a lover of music and she soon became very active as a chorister in a local church there in Jos.
And after school, I remember that she even, no one may believe now, she will even roast corn, you know, in order to get some pocket money and help in the home.
Little Deborah was originally interested in mathematics, but it was a primary school teacher who first awakened her interest in the sciences, and Deborah would go ahead to pursue what would later become a very illustrious career in geophysics.
Take for example in primary school, I was a bit gifted, so my strong points were in arithmetic in those days and the sciences. But again, I was lucky. God has been so good to me that the teachers in Jos, at the first school I went to, which is St. Luke's School in Jos, and then later government school in Jos, were very keen and very much interested in their job. And they took all of us as their children. They referred to us as their children. So much so that some of their biological kids are sometimes jealous that they call us their children. So they put their all into teaching us. And I remember in primary school, if I got 80 out of 100, the teacher would say, "Oh, you were careless," will hold me by one cheek. "I'm sure you weren't thinking," and give me like that. So I would laugh. I said, "Sir, yes, sir, Daddy, you were right, you know." And so I'll work hard the next time. I'll be more attentive. I was blessed with what I call a photographic memory then. Because when they are teaching, if I pay attention, I will more or less just throw it back at you when you ask a question. So I had an interesting passage through primary school. And they stimulated my interest in several things. By the time we got to about standard 5 in those days and 6, they would take us out to see the railway lines in Jos. And they have a gap on the rails, and they explained to us that it's expansion, so that when the sun comes up, around 12, the metals will heat up and expand, and this is to stop the gauge buckling up because of that expansion. And I remembered him teaching us arithmetic, taking us out to see how roofs are made, and showing us that 2 sides are always longer than the other, and taught us Pythagoras' theorem, like that, the vertical. And then biology, they would bring us to the classroom, encourage us to bring old tins, and they would put some soils in these tins and put water in them. And then some of us, we put ours close to the window. Some we put them in the shade, and some we put manure a little bit in, others wouldn't. And then we see the various reactions.
In 1962, Deborah Enilo Ajakai graduated from the University of Ibadan with a bachelor's degree in physics. She then went on to a graduate training program at the University of Birmingham in Great Britain, from where she received her master's degree. In 1970, Enilo was back to her fatherland to obtain a PhD in geophysics from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. In 1980, she became the first female professor of physics in Africa, and her works in geophysics has continued to play an important role.
How would I describe her? How much time do you have? It's a very long subject. I mean, naturally, I'm her son, so I've seen her as a mother. I've seen her as a how do I say, almost an academic, and I've seen her as almost a family member, and I've also seen her as a practitioner with CCWA, and I think each of those might be slightly different. I mean, as a mother, we've had a very, very close relationship. It's always been a mother-son relationship, but also a close bond and a very close friendship.
She was still in the university when she came to teach when we were in secondary school in our college, but I've known her from Jos. The mission school where she used to come during vacation to teach inspired most young women, and many of us promised ourselves that we will copy what she is, to a point where by the time we ended up together in Zaria, she was a senior lecturer up to professor, while we became teachers and lecturers. So it shows that her inspiration, her ability to inspire young people in terms of determination to be better, determination to achieve goals that you set for yourself. We watch her over the years knowing that this is somebody we can really hold on to.
I was extremely lousy at drawing and things like that, but they taught us to make batik once and asked us to take pictures. So I thought I was being smart by just taking fish and a tree and a house. And the hut I drew just square and a triangle on top of it. And the tree I just did two like that and did like that and did something funny to represent the leaves. It turned out to be one of the most complicated things because I had to have different colors for this. So I persevered and I spent twice or three times the amount of time like the others did. And for the first time in the history of my life in school, I got the highest class marks in arts that year. So it was framed on the wall and everybody laughed and everybody cheered me up, But that was really something.
We were very small. We were very small about, I got to just about 3 years old and grew up there. I remember that she's neat and she's very neat because our grandmother was a very neat person. And she is very intelligent. She always comes first. And after school, I remember that she even, no one may believe now, she will even roast corn, in order to get some pocket money and help in the home. And she's always there, she's always on her quiet, not the lousy type. She doesn't go out anyhow. She was always at home when they are on holidays. And she's always helpful with the family, with the chores in the house.
I skipped something because I couldn't write properly. I write fast, I think faster than I write in those days. So I would write O in a funny way and all the other alphabets in a funny way. And the teacher says, but for reading the 2 lines or 3 lines, I say, there might be something in this. We won't read your text. That my writing was like a duck playing in the mud, and then you come and then put his foot like this. So I had to spend time learning to write properly. And that took some fun. So when it comes to things like arts, and they just count me out. But the other subjects I was okay.
During her illustrious career, Professor Ajakaye lectured at the Ahmadu Bello University and the University of Jos and served as visiting scholar to other universities within and outside the country. She was a professor of physics at the University of Jos and the first female dean of the Faculty of Natural Sciences.
I met Professor Deborah Ajakaye when she was a young lady in the year 1966. I was a student in ABU in another department, and she was a lecturer in the Department of Geology. I think she was in physics at that time. It was later I heard that she went for further studies in geophysics. At that time, we used to admire her. You know, she was a young lady among so many men, and she was a role model for us.
My life growing up with Professor Ajakaye, I can only describe as very inspirational, because spending a number of my holidays with her, she taught me many things. And to a very large extent, I think some of the administrative skills that I exhibit in the place of my work today were skills that I acquired while living and growing up with her.
I think I started knowing her when I was very small. All what I know we call her then was Mama Canada. Nobody ever explained to me how that name came about. But I think maybe she schooled in Canada or she lived in Canada. All we know is that Mama Canada, and everybody looks at her as maybe like an angel or a role model, something like a pacesetter, something that has never happened in the family before.
Prof was very meticulous, and I saw her as one who stretches herself a lot.
Many years after her teaching days in Jos, Prof embarked on an unscheduled visit back to the university campus, and her visit brought so many fond memories for both her and a number of her colleagues who were fortunate to reunite with her. She was led straight into the Vice-Chancellor's office, where a management meeting was being held. Upon her arrival, and immediately the Vice-Chancellor was notified of her arrival, the meeting was called to an abrupt end, and Prof was well received. Professor Deborah Enilo Ajakaye was the first black African woman to be named an honorary fellow of the Geological Society of London. She was the first president of the Association of Geoscientists for International Development. Prof was one of the first 3 Nigerians to be honored by the Nigerian University Commission (NUC) for contributions to higher education in the country, and in 2011 as the most distinguished physical science professor.
All-time favorite had been Sonny Ade, Victor Wilford, he was good, and Celestine, you can imagine, and Ebenezer Obitu was good, you know. But the younger artists too, I don't know their names, but I like some of their music. I can't recollect their names straight away. Like George, the lady, something Lara George, you know, I like her. Yes, it's being of the old school. I still enjoy the old people and their old melodies.
She is a scholar, a distinguished scholar. She has distinguished herself in all endeavors. She has always been coming first in everything she does. As a past president of our society, of our great society, Nigerian Mining and Geosciences Society, she did a lot. Anywhere she goes, they did a lot. She's just, it's an asset to any organization she finds herself. There's no doubt about that.
In 1999, she received the Shell Petroleum Development Corporation and Nigerian Mining and Geoscience Society's highest meritorious award for landmark achievements in the earth sciences in Africa, and she served as a member of the Advisory Council of the American Association of Petroleum Geologists, AAPG, from 2001 to 2004, and was subsequently elected as the AAPG Africa Regional President from the year 2005 to 2007. 2007, the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, NAPE, conferred her with the Aret Adams Award, which is the highest award given to earth scientists who have made significant contributions to the field of petroleum exploration. In 2008, Professor Ajakaye received the National Award of Officer of the Order of the Niger, OON, and in 2010, she was among the 50 Nigerian women who were honored during the 50th independent anniversary of Nigeria as one of the top 50 women leaders in the Nigerian history. The American Association of Petroleum Geologists gave her a Distinguished Service Award in 2011. Prof kept a date with history in Abuja when she stepped out to receive yet another award from the Nigerian Mining and Geosciences Society, NMGS, instituted by the Shell Petroleum Development Corporation.
The suffering masses here. We wish we have millions of our type. Maybe we won't be in the mess we are in today. But we still thank God for her life and her encouragement to the downtrodden, particularly the helpless widows, the orphans, the aged. She's touched so many people, and my prayer for her is for long life and more strength to continue this good work, so that the legacy she's leaving behind for future generations and the family of giving, the spirit of giving and the service to God and man is it's not measurable.
It all stems from personal experiences on the university campuses, at the university campuses, first in Ahmadu Bello University and later in Jos, seeing the plight of widows in particularly in the university environment, where I was sort of glued for those periods, and just seeing the sufferings, the heartaches and the difficulties, the trauma these women go through when their husbands die, out there in the villages where there is nobody to care for them. One of the things that really got me thinking was the fact that losing a loved one is bad enough. There is that vacuum in you which only God can fill. But added to that is the fact, for these widows, is the fact that some, I would say, I don't want to use strong words, I would say not thinking enough or not caring enough, would come and add to that pain, that heartache, by dispossessing the widows and orphans of everything they have. I have watched it in the university environment, where they would even come and take what's in the fridge. And if we didn't tell them that, look, all these things in the kitchen, at least the stove, the fridge, and the microwave, if there were any at that time or much, but anything solid that the university provides belongs to the university, they would take them all away from them. Oh, one even threatened to take away the government telephone box that was installed in each house in those days. And so, reading through the scriptures, I just felt the Lord in His mercy showed me that He cares for these people and that He loves them dearly. So I started to take care of them individually and take them in, but stretch a hand of love and friendship to them. And I found that smiles were put on their faces, you know, depression became something they didn't even think about. And so I started doing it on a larger scale. I remembered in a case, the relatives of this lady came all the way from the south and they wanted to take her with them. But when they saw the love around her in Zaria, then in the university campus in Zaria, they said, no, she belongs here. We can't give her so much care or love down in, she actually came from Lagos.
Professor Ajakaye personally experienced the heartaches, sufferings, and loneliness that widows, widowers, the aged, and orphans often encounter while she was at the university environment in Zaria and Jos.
Many young lecturers died. Many died through accidents. Some died through diseases. And I wasn't even aware that she was supporting the widows and the orphans at the time. For many years we lost touch. Then around 2014 or 2012, I met her again. I heard about her here and we linked up again. It was then that I heard that she had established the CCWA, and I decided to join as a volunteer. And since that time, I have been playing my own small part in assisting the organization.
Because it happened from Maiduguri and all over, we lost another person from Maiduguri. So we started, you know, just helping individuals, one after the other. And later, about 25 years ago, it dawned heavily on me that this is not what an individual can shoulder, because there's so much need out there. And that I had to form it into a group. So I discussed with my pastor, and he said, oh yes, I was also thinking about care Christian. I said, well, what I got in the spirit too is, you know, Christian care. So we put it together for widows, widowers, aged, and orphans. And he gave me a slot in the church the next day. And wow, when I spoke to the church congregation for 5 minutes or less, the reaction was overwhelming. People were fighting back tears. They came out, and we had an audience in the gathering, and they were so excited. And what was dropped in my spirit was to share with them whatever I had. It was about Christmas time, which I did. And they chose and designed this emblem, God is love. And they chose the fact that their heart is darkened, but when the ray of God penetrates it, they find that it's not that bad. And then when I took them through the scriptures, there are over 80 verses in the scriptures which confirm that God loves them. He'll take care of them. He doesn't want, you know, depression to be their lot in life. He wants them to be what he has created them to be. They can achieve it. And he alone knows what has happened to them, why the husband passed away. But he knows today and tomorrow and the future. So we launched it. And it was again overwhelming acceptance by the congregation, by the people around, because in Jos then, the then governor, even though he lost his mother a few days earlier, still sent a representative, and we had a big inauguration ceremony at the then Hill Station, Jos. And so what started as a small show of friendship and love to people has, by God's grace, spread to the whole country.
In 1991, she founded the Christian Care for Widows, Widowers, the Aged and Orphans, CCWA for short, with a very firm vision to empower widows, widowers, the aged and orphans to be financially self-sufficient and spiritually fulfilled.
What I'm teaching them is how to make beads.
Right now, what you're doing is a key holder for souvenirs, weddings, any ceremony that you need to give out souvenirs, and they are really catching up, and it's very interesting. I am enjoying what I do, and they are enjoying what I am teaching them, so it's a good class.
And what started with a very modest beginning in Jos has now spread to more than 470 centers with over 28,000 members in 31 districts spread across 20 states of Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory. The aims and objectives of CCWA is to actively focus and pursue the spiritual, social, physical and material well-being of widows, widowers and the aged, and in so doing cater also for the needs of orphans. To establish community centers as places of fellowship, interaction and ministering to special needs of the target groups in the context of Christianity. To organize counseling, prayer meetings, Bible studies, prayer camps, training seminars, symposia, and other spiritual related activities as part of the Christian Care Fellowship. To embark on Christian care missions and programs with a view to winning souls for Christ and to prepare men and women for the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. There are 7 focal points of CCWA, and they include 1. Weekly Bible study and seminar. This weekly study and seminar is to encourage fellowship among members for the purpose of establishing a solid spiritual foundation rooted in the knowledge and understanding of the Word of God, thus replacing the spirit of mourning with that of gladness and joy. These studies and seminars seek also to motivate every member to assemble in unity with the objective of encouraging and fellowshipping with one another, establishing a solid spiritual foundation rooted in God, expanding knowledge and understanding the Word of God, developing continual and progressive spiritual growth. 2. Counseling sessions. CCWA offers members passing through difficult and troubling situations opportunity to access godly counsel from trained and competent Christian counselors. 3. Skill Acquisition Program. The Skill Acquisition Program focuses on offering interested members the opportunity to be empowered and be self-sufficient in various vocations of their choice to alleviate lack, poverty, and idleness. They also add value to the lives of members through adult literacy program. 4. Small-scale business loan. This program encourages entrepreneurship by providing low interest rate loans to members. These loans allow members to embark on profitable small-scale businesses or improve already existing business. 5. Faith Clinic. The Faith Clinic provides CCWA members the opportunity to access free and quality basic healthcare services from dedicated volunteers who are also medical practitioners. 6. Founders Scholarship Scheme. CCWA understands the importance of education and the opportunities of success that it provides. It also seeks to impact the lives of orphans and fatherless children through the Founders Scholarship Scheme, which provides access to education for promising children from primary through secondary levels of scholarship and, in exceptional cases, to needy orphans studying in tertiary institutions. 7. Annual events. Under this category, CCWA organizes 3 major annual events. First, the annual career seminar for school-aged orphans. The annual career seminar for school-aged orphans is organized at zonal and district levels to encourage and motivate orphans on various academic, financial, and social challenges. 2. The annual Thanksgiving for members. The annual Thanksgiving for members at the district level is organized for members to appreciate God for a successful execution of the year's activity in the district and to set strategies for the realization of set goals and activities for the forthcoming year. 3. The National Annual Convention. The National Annual Convention is organized for both the general public and CCWA members across the country. The convention provides a unique avenue for CCWA members to meet and encourage one another, raise awareness about CCWA's progress and activities, and share God's word from their personal experiences and also insights from various seasoned speakers from across the country. With these activities, CCWA continues to put smiles on the faces of thousands of deprived persons across the nation, regardless of their tribe, status, or religion. CCWA has become a home, and with a spirit of oneness and solidarity, they are assured of a loving embrace and a welcoming smile filled with true love for one another. CCWA.